Hello, class. Welcome to the very first lesson in Unit 7, Rational Numbers. All right, so our very first task is titled Above and Below Zero. So here are three situations involving changes in temperature and three number lines. There are the three number lines there. Represent each change on a number line, then answer the question. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're actually going to use the app, and we're going to do that there, and then we're going to use what we find out on the app to answer the questions. All right, so the first question says, at noon, the temperature was 5 degrees Celsius. By late afternoon, it had risen, that means it went up, 6 degrees Celsius. What was the temperature late in the afternoon? Well, let's go to the app and let's see how this works. So 5 degrees is what we're starting with. So on the app, scroll down a little bit here. All right, so the starting temperature was 5. So we click enter. You can see over here it's at 0 right now. As soon as I hit enter, boom, it goes to 5. That's right in between 4 and 6. And you'll remember it is going to rise or go up by 6 degrees. So let's do that. Temperature increase is 6. Oops, I have to type it over here. 6. Whoa, look at that. See, it changed. It goes up to, what is that? 10 something, 12. Oh, that has to be 11. All right, so it has to be 11 degrees. Let's make this one smaller, and let's make it orange. All right, so 11 degrees is what we were talking about there, and we can go on to number 2 after I get rid of the background. There we go. For number B, letter B, I should say, the temperature was 8 degrees Celsius at midnight, so we're going to start from 8 degrees. But then by dawn, which means it's right before the sun's coming up, it has dropped 12 degrees. So let's take a look here. Starting temperature is 8, and let me actually get rid of that. Starting temperature is 8. Let me actually reset everything here. I think I got it thrown off. So we make it 8. There we go. Now it's at 8. And then it says that it dropped 12 degrees. So that means it decreased by 12. Well, let's see what that looks like. Decreased by 12. Look at this. Where is that? Look at that. Notice 0. And this is down at -4. It's below 0. 4 degrees below 0. So, isn't that interesting? So we have 4 degrees below 0 is the temperature. That is going to be cold. 4 degrees below 0. All right. For letter C, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's different from Fahrenheit, right? Some of you may be wondering, what is this Celsius stuff? Fahrenheit's the temperature system that we use here in the United States, but the rest of the world uses Celsius. So for the rest of the world, water freezes at 0. So we keep that in mind, and we say, but the freezing temperature can be lowered by adding salt to the water. So that basically, I guess the salt kind of, I don't know if it warms things up or what happens, but basically the water isn't going to freeze as quickly. So what happens is the student discovered that adding half a cup of salt to a gallon of water lowers its freezing temperature by 7 degrees Celsius. So what is the freezing temperature of the gallon of salt water? Okay, so let's say, so he's got a gallon of water, right? And it's, if we wanted to have it freeze normally, we would just take it down to 0. But now we're going to lower the freezing temperature by 7 degrees. So in this case here, let's reset everything. It's going to be 0 as the starting temperature. Here is 0. But because of the salt, it's going to decrease the freezing temperature by 7. So let's see where this is at now. And it's actually 7 degrees below 0. So if you can't, oops, did I not? Let's see what happens here. This applet will not go below this. So it's -7. Okay, so if it starts at 0, it's going to be 7 degrees below 0. All right, not 6.1. 7 degrees below 0. Or you could say -7 degrees. Okay, so for number 2, should be discussed with your partner. Okay, so the first one, how did each of you name the resulting temperature in each situation? You're going to have to check with your partner on that. Okay, but for part B, what does it mean when the temperature is above zero or below zero? Well, if the temperature is above zero, that's going to be a positive number, and it's going to be warmer than the temperatures below zero, which are negative numbers, and which are going to be colder. All right, for part C, do numbers less than zero make sense in other contexts, other situations? And let's see if we can give some examples to show how they can or won't make sense. So there's a couple of examples you can think of. One of them would be, imagine if you are standing on the ground and you get a shovel and you dig into the shovel and you put something below the ground. Well, we would say that it's below the ground. It's actually, we call that below sea level. We'll see that in the next activity. But if it's below the ground, that would be a negative height or elevation. Okay. But if we were talking about, how many people are in a class, it wouldn't make sense to say that there are -3 students in the class, right? That makes no sense. Okay, so in some situations you can use negative numbers and they make sense, and in other situations they would not.